Grand Rising. Good morning. However you like to say it. Good day. Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. Miss Sierra. Grand Rising. Grand Rising. We give our shade to the divine infinite all. We give our shade to the most beautiful and precious Santissima Morte, to all the ancestors, the angels, the guides, the elder councils, the ascended masters. I just want to tell you thank you for giving me the courage to speak on my situations. Thank you for the many blessings that you guys have bestowed upon me. Thank you all for protecting me and my family. I have so much gratitude towards you all right now. Thank you all for keeping me safe. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I feel it in my soul like I need to speak. So I'm going to speak this morning. Trying to set my vibe right so we can get this going. Come on in this room. Come on in this room. I do have a sense of gratitude. I really do. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I'm thankful and grateful for the new opportunities. I'm thankful when I look back over my life, all the situations that I have gotten out of that were meant for my detriment. I appreciate them, y'all. It's real shit. So I do have a couple of announcements. Trying to roll my giant. But I do have a couple of announcements. Are we just going to talk about some shit? I mean, we're going to shoot the shit. It just is what it is. That's what we're going to do. 2:42 on the clock. I'm going to speak my truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Ashe, ashe. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Grand Rising, so grateful for you as well. Family, tribe. All right, so I'm going to pause that, and I'm going to just go ahead and get started. And everybody who's not on here, you just not on here, you're going to have to rewind this video. I seen 322, 324 on the clock, okay? So, yesterday somebody commented, and I appreciate this brother commenting in the comment section. I always appreciate the masculine energy that's a part of Truth Gang, because we know we got a lot of feminine energy, and men ain't very talkative, but we do have a lot of men in Truth Gang. But I appreciate y'all rocking with your girl and balancing out these energies up in the portals and letting me know that the masculine energy is here in Truth Gang. Ashe. Y'all just don't be speaking up. Speak outside. Speak outside. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay? On the lives and shit. All right, so he pointed out generational wealth when I was speaking about the generational wealth and how that's a bad idea to just be letting anybody get into those type of rituals or even be doing those type of rituals if you do not know what the fuck you doing. And he commented like you have to pay for the generational wealth, like debt has to be paid and all of that in order for you to get generational wealth. So I was like, yeah, that's true. He said, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's right, but this is how I'm feeling about it. It is true. You have to pass your test. You have to pay off your karmic debt. Then you got to pass all your spiritual tests to prove to the spirits that, to whom much is given, much is required. So you have to prove to the spirits that you're going to be responsible with whatever it is that they give you, right? So he was very right, and I just wanted to point that out, okay? And then I wanted to point out customer versus client, okay? Because I had a couple people hit me up yesterday, and they was like, can we just have a phone call? But see, I don't do that shit. I don't just have phone calls. Whatever is going on in your life, I'm sure it's an emergency situation. And I ain't trying to be mean. And people be like, she kind of, how do you put it? What is the word, spirit? Bold, maybe, when I speak or whatever, tactful or whatever. Because your problems that's going on in your life, that has nothing to do with me. Just like when you get a lawyer, right? The lawyer doesn't give a shit about your problems unless they get paid. It ain't their problem. You know what I'm saying? So Spirit was really telling me to protect my energy because I know that there's some people that will see that you're kind or whatever and take your kindness for weakness. But y'all have to keep in mind, as a tribe, as the truth gang, this is what I do for a living. This is how I feed my children. This is how I pay my bills. You get what I'm saying? So I can't just be on the phone with you for an hour taking on your energy for no goddamn reason, and you're not paying me nothing, you're not even making a donation or nothing. I'm not doing that shit. I invest in those who invest in me. Now, if you are a client of mine, like I'm doing spiritual work for you, I'm actively working on something for you, then you don't have to pay me for every phone call because you've already paid me a lump sum of something for me to work on whatever it is that you're asking me to work on. So I answer my phone for my clients like that because I need to know what's going on in your situation so I can do what I need to do on my end. But if you just ain't trying to book a reading or nothing, like you ain't even hit my Cash App or nothing, and you just want to come because you're having an emergency in your life and tell me what's going on, because see, I give very good advice and I'm very genuine, and then you're going to stop up my energy, and I'm not appreciative of that. Okay, I'm a very nice person, but y'all have to keep in mind, like, you don't go to the soda machine and expect the soda out that motherfucker for free. You got to put some coins in that bitch. All right, and that's how I roll over here, because this is what I do. It is my gift, and I can discern how I use it. And Spirit was telling me to do that because basically, it was a few people that had hit me up like, I just want to talk on the phone. I have vent sessions, okay? You can book a vent session. I have vent sessions, and you can come and dump all your energy off on me, and you got to pay me to do so. And the reason why you have to pay me is because I know how to transmute that negative energy. I know how to take it all off of you and make you feel better, okay? Take all that shit off of you and make you feel better in your life. It does have to be an equal energy exchange, and I ain't trying to be like money hungry or nothing like that. It ain't even about that. But for you to get me on the phone, and then you got a problem, and then I'm going to give you the sound advice that I give someone that's paying me for a reading, because I don't know how to be anybody but me. I don't know how to give nothing but the real. I'm going to give you the sound advice that I'm giving someone who's paying me on a motherfucking reading or something like that. Then you have to hit my Cash App. And if you can't afford me, then just say, hey, sis, I can't afford a whole $75 reading, but I can make a donation. And if you can do that, then I'm going to help you. And it's just that simple. My son was like, Mama, so if somebody didn't have all the money, because my kids, they be on my ass too, making sure I'm an honest person. My kids be on my ass because I teach them. And if I'm doing something outside of what I'm teaching them, they call me out on it. So my son was like, Mama, but you help people. So if they don't have all of it, but they have something, like if it was the $75 reading, but they only had $35, if they told you beforehand, would you do it? And I told him, yeah. I'll do it for them if they tell me beforehand that they don't have everything that I'm asking, but I'm here to make a donation to still pour into you what I have, or maybe I can barter and trade. And I'm tired of making videos like this because I've said this several times before. You said facts and I don't even get paid for it, but then you shouldn't be doing it. That's how you end up drained, and you can take on people's karma, people's feelings. How you get on that phone with that homegirl and she telling you all that problems. You was fine before she called, but as soon as she started talking, she started telling you all her problems, and then your vibration after you get off the phone is fucked up and off, but they feel better. You get what I'm saying? They're like, thanks, sis, I feel great. And you like now you have all their energy. You know what I'm saying? Now you got all that shit on you. And now you have to try to transmute that energy off of you, because whatever is going on in their life, energy is fluid shit. You know what I'm saying? So take your time. And if anybody's unwilling to invest in you, then you shouldn't do it. And if you don't feel like you're at a point where you can read for other people and get paid for it, then you just need to read for yourself, period. You know, read for yourself until you master it, and then read for other people. But don't do it for free, because energy, you can't, I mean, it can be replaced, but you can't replace it if I'm just sitting here letting y'all call me and shit and we just talking on the phone for hours. Nah, time is money. All right. But anyways, yeah, okay. So I'm going to talk about story time. You know, this is a blackout, but I'm going to talk about my situation with my ex-husband. I'm going back through my memories and I'm healing. So we on our healing journey. So I'm going to talk about the time that I met my ex-husband's brother and then my mother-in-law. And I'm going to talk about a situation with the girl whom we will call Mandy, right? So this is over years. This situation has taken place over years. So it's going to be layers to it. I always explain that because it is a timeline situation, right? So these people are totally fucking karmic, and I just didn't pay attention to the signs right then and there when I was dealing in this, while I was in this situation, right? So my ex-husband, the preacher or whatever, when he fucking told me that he was adopted. They all have fucking issues. My mom had issues. This nigga got issues. He was adopted. His mama was never in his life. He told me he had met his mama approximately like a year or so before we got married. And now his mother was in his life, right? And he's a grown-ass man at this point. So he takes me to meet his mother, right? Before that, I was in the shelter and I had started singing with this girl. I always did music, right? I started singing with this girl. She was a 7-day Adventist and her name was Mandy. We just gonna call her Mandy. All right, I started singing with her and me and her made a group, and she found out I was married to the preacher or whatever, and then she found out that he had a brother. After I get out of the shelter, I get another place through the 7-day Adventist church, right? I get another place through the 7-day Adventist church, and Mandy's still in the shelter, and she's like, hey, can I come and stay with you or whatever, right? And I'm like, okay. So I let Mandy come and stay with me. I think I'm getting ahead because it is a timeline situation. I let Mandy come and stay with me, and the brother was staying there too. It was like, I let my brother-in-law come stay there too. I am getting ahead of myself because it is a timeline situation where I have to tell you like how I met her, because I met her before I met. Okay, let me not get ahead of myself, okay? This is a long time memory, okay? So, all right. So I meet the brother-in-law. This is how I meet the brother-in-law, okay? So we're on a date. Me and my ex-husband, this is right when we first meet, and I don't know, he's a scammer. I don't know. I'm still thinking that he's a preacher. I'm proud to be like about to be this man's wife and all this other stuff, right? So we go to Applebee's on a date, and this is the date that we're setting up to double date with his brother, who is a fucking criminal, right? This nigga's a criminal, right? So we're on a double date with his brother, right? The girl gets there first. The girl that's supposed to be dating with his brother, she gets to the Applebee's first. So it's me and my husband, but he wasn't my husband at the time. We were about to get married and we were being introduced to the brother-in-law, right? So it was me and him. And then it was also the girl. At the table, at the Applebee's table, she's telling us before his brother gets there, because he's running late, that she's pregnant. She just found out that she's pregnant, right? This isn't Mandy. That's why I said I was getting ahead of myself, right? All right, so she's telling me and my husband that she's pregnant by the brother and she's going to announce the pregnancy over dinner, right? So I'm like happy for her. I'm like, yay. And her face is all excited and everything, right? So he gets there like 20 minutes later and we order food, we order drinks, we're ordering the drinks. And when he gets there, she tells him that she's pregnant or whatever. And he starts immediately in the restaurant in front of everybody going off on her. Bitch, you're a hoe. Da 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 da. He said in the restaurant, I sodomized you, but he didn't say it like that. He said, I effed you in your, that's what he said, okay? Out in the restaurant in front of everybody, right? So immediately I'm embarrassed. The girl starts crying and my ex-husband is like not really saying anything. He's just watching the shit go down or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm embarrassed for the girl. I felt bad for her because like at that time I was still naive and I didn't know really what was going on. I was just like, damn, that's hard. Like, why would you do that to this girl? Why are y'all coming in here? I'm alive, obviously. My kids are so nosy, I swear to God. All right, so why would you do this to this girl? So we end up getting kicked out the restaurant because he gets loud like with her. As soon as he said, I'm pregnant. This is my first time ever meeting this guy. This is his little brother. My first time ever meeting this guy. And that was what was happening, right, in the situation. So we end up getting kicked out of the restaurant because he wouldn't calm down. He was steady going off on her, calling her bees and talking about he'll smack her and all this crazy stuff because she said she was pregnant, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And he was telling her to kill the baby and all this other stuff. And we're standing outside of Applebee's. She's crying and all this shit. Now, this is my first time ever meeting him. And I was just like appalled. I was like, what the fuck happened here on this date? Like, what the fuck happened here, right? So that was that, right? And then we're timeline jumping, right? So after all of that is when I went to the shelter and I met this girl, Mandy. But I knew right then and there that I did not like his brother because of what the fuck he had did to that girl in the middle of the Applebee's. That was very embarrassing. And we ended up getting kicked out. Okay? So we got married and all that other shit. He left me, all that other abusive shit. And then we go to the shelter where I meet this girl, Mandy, right? And this is at the time where I'm still falling for the okie doke with this nigga. He's like, we're going to get a place. We're going to be a family. Boop, 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 boop. So I end up getting another place. And then Mandy, like I said, Mandy came to stay with me, all right? Mandy finds out about her brother. And I tell fucking Mandy that the brother is not right. Okay? I told her that the brother was not all the way right because of what he did to that girl. And she didn't give a fuck. She was jealous of the fact that I was married to this preacher. And she just wanted to be a part of this family so bad, right? So he takes me to meet the mom, right? And this is a karmic mother-in-law, right? He takes me to meet the mom, and I meet the mom, right? And she's a criminal too, and she's scamming motherfuckers at her age. Like, that's what she does. She does like insurance fraud or some shit. All right, at her motherfucking age, this is what she was doing. So when I first meet her, him and his mom went into another room. We're at her house. They went into another room, and me and the brother were left in the room, right? So his brother, as soon as they walked out the room, his brother started to mouth something. And I don't know what he was mouthing, but I couldn't really hear him. So I asked him to say it again. He said it again or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was like, want to fuck or something like that. I don't really know what the fuck he was talking about. He was like asking me, did I want to fuck him or whatever? And I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to get away from me or whatever, you know? And because I turned him down, he went and told his mom that I tried to sleep with him. And they told my husband that. And I was like, immediately, like, this is crazy. Like, why the fuck would I even want you? I saw you how you did this girl at the restaurant. The first time I met you, I already knew that you was a dog ass, nothing ass nigga, because my guy, like, how do you do somebody like that in public when they telling you they pregnant? You know what I'm saying? And we skipped from that or whatever. So that's me meeting the mom. And the mom was like, she a bitch. She tried to get with your brother. You gonna believe her over your brother? Like, all that other type of shit. And I never, like, ever was interested in him because that was the first time I ever met that dude. And it was horrible. For that girl, I felt really bad. But anyways, so we gonna timeline jump again. All right, so now we're back at the apartment. Everybody know each other. Mandy knows the boy, the brother, and all of that stuff, and she wants to get with him because she sees he's a bad boy. This is the preacher's brother. He's a bad boy, all this other shit. And I'm trying to warn her, like, do not do this or whatever. Him and the mama end up. She gets pregnant by this brother too. By the way, Mandy ends up, the girl that I knew, she ends up getting pregnant by his brother too. Right. And I fucking told her, but before she even got pregnant, him and the mother ended up sex trafficking her. They pimped her out. She was doing whole shit. He ended up doing her, sodomizing her as well. And him and the mom sex trafficked the girl. And I could tell that they was trying to do that to me too back in that point in time, but they knew I wasn't going for it. They knew that I had morals and I was not doing that shit. So that's what happened to her. And she has a baby with him to this day. I remember she left her baby at my house for days one time. Him and her ran off, and we was in this apartment, and they ran the fuck off, and the baby was in there. And I told her to come and get her baby, or I was calling CPS on her. The baby was there for like 3 days, her oldest son. For like 3 motherfucking days. And she was out hoeing, selling her ass for this nigga. Mandy ain't her real name, but we just don't call her Mandy. And his real name ain't, I ain't say it, but his name RJ. We just don't call him RJ, the brother. All right, so that happened, and that's how I knew that I was dealing with some fucked up ass people. And it is kind of hard for me to talk about this shit because this is really what happened. Like, this shit is deep, okay? So that situation took place as well. What else about this situation? Well, I guess that's it for that particular part of it. Me meeting his mom, that girl that I knew that was my friend. She was a Christian, wholesome girl. We was singing in a gospel group together through the 7-day Adventist church, and they turned her into this hoe. Like, for real. They turned her the fuck out. She was not even the same person anymore. She was having threesomes. They put her in all type of situations. Like, this shit was just crazy. And I got the fuck away from that shit. And this is the same time that I told him I didn't want to be with him anymore. And I ended up, this was years ago. So if it's hard for me to tell the story, it is because my youngest son is 12. Okay. And this happened around the same time and in the same apartment that I found out I was pregnant with my youngest son. The one I told y'all that I did not know how I had sex to get this son. And I feel like I was drugged because I didn't like him at that point. I had already had a child with him and I knew what the fuck he was on and what the fuck he was about. And I didn't want to be with him anymore. So it was around that same time. A bunch of stuff was going on. So of course the story has layers, like I said. But I just want to document that too. Because if I would have paid attention to the signs like back then and then, I mean, I was still on my shit because they never pimped me out or hold me or nothing. Because I was a Christian girl at that time and I just wasn't on no shit like that. I was not going to compromise my relationship with Jesus. I was one of those at that point in time, you know? So it just was what it was. But I felt bad for that situation because they did pimp that girl out and several other females. The mother, his mama, and the brother. And him too, apparently, was pimping out females. But I'm just saying. And this is just for documentation purposes and to get the shit off my motherfucking chest. Okay? So I don't even know if this makes sense because I did jump around and I have to jump around because, like I said, this shit happened over 12 years ago. This shit was a long ass motherfucking time ago for me. But I want to root these memories up and talk about this shit. And I'm not going to be silenced on the shit because it happened. I've seen a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit and I'm going to tell it. I'm gonna fucking sell it. Period. Point blank. I don't even know where the girl Mandy at to this day, or what happened to the kid or nothing like that. But I do know that she was sex trafficked in front of me. But anyways, I'm out this motherfucker. Gang, gang, gang.